probiotics. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the live and build up the live, and let's look at the yeast and the parasites and what they can do to harm us. We're going to talk about that tonight, and we're going to show how these parasites works, and the program we have coming up on the 5th, the 11th of March. Yeah. Blessings, and tonight we're gonna function on yeast and parasites and fungi, and we have a program coming up soon on the yeast and parasite cleanse, and we were bombarded yesterday with lots of people asking for the parasitic cleanse. So what we're going to do tomorrow is going to give us health and strength. If you have it already, I would like you to share it with someone. Yeah. If you don't have it, I'm going to put it up tomorrow on Facebook, and you can download it. Okay? Yeah. So you don't have to pay for it. It's going to be free. If you go to the website, you will have to pay for that program. But I'm going to put it up tomorrow on Facebook where you don't have to pay for it. Yes, you can just download it, and then you can follow that program on the 11th of March 2025. Because the 14th of March is called Worm Moon. You hear that, Shante? Mm-hmm. They call it Worm Moon. I mean the worm in action. Yeah. I want you to listen very carefully before we look at the presentation. In the olden days, yeah, the elders, if you are from the Caribbean, you know what I'm talking about. The elders used to give us a deworming every time we go, before we go back to school. Yeah? That was the way of the elders. The elders also used to put cloves in ham, and the purpose of the cloves in the ham was to remove the parasites that the ham had. Yeah? So a lot of the elders knew that certain foods can accumulate parasites internally. And that's right, that's the reason why the elders used to give us vermifuge, a deworming. Yeah? And that cloves in that ham was there to kill the parasites before you can ingest them. Now, clove is called a food herb. Yeah? You have it here, son? You have cloves here? Where is it? Cloves. This herb is a food herb called cloves. Yeah? And cloves have a compound called eugenol. And that's why you find it in toothpaste too. Now, cloves, because of the compound in the cloves, the elders knew that it killed parasites. So they used to put it in the pork, in the ham, around the so-called Christmas time, so that when you eat the ham, you don't have lots of infestation of the parasites in your intestines. Number two, the ham, the pork, the pig have the worst parasite ever. You know why? Because when you eat lots of pork, yeah, and sushi also, but the pork parasite, come, let me show you what it does. Come over here, son. You see the parasite from the pork? When the parasite from the pork gets into this organ, it hooks on the walls of your intestines. It is very difficult to remove the pork parasite from inside here. And that's the reason why the elders used to put the cloves in the ham. Because when that the parasite that the pork have, they have they have like strings, they have like teeth, like they hang on your intestines, and they feed on the garbage in here. And when they feed on the garbage, they accumulate, and they can move from here and go into the bloodstream and into your lung, causing you to get a cough a long term. So over here now, we're going to talk about yeast, parasites, and how to keep the liver healthy, so you don't get liver overload. Yeah? Now, lots of women seem to get yeast infection. You can get a yeast infection as a woman from antibiotics. Antibiotics give women yeast infection. You can get a yeast infection from nylon panties. You can get a yeast infection from using too much processed carbohydrates. You can also get a yeast infection from drinking too much alcohol. You can also get a yeast infection if you have diabetes. Yeah? So a yeast is like a microscopic fungi that is found in nature. Yeah? And lots of people do not know that the yeast can come from sugar, beets, yeah, flour. And if you're baking and the air is warm, the air can cause yeast to form, which can do what? Convert into carbonic acid or carbon dioxide and alcohol. Yeast. So if there is, because the body have yeast, but if there is an excessive amount of yeast or fungi in the body, it affects the mucous membranes. And then the mucous membranes start producing lots of mucin, excessive amount of that, and then it becomes problematic for you, the individual. So what we're going to do, we're going to control this guy, and we're going to remove this guy, him. We're going to take him out. What is a parasite? A parasite is a microorganism that is a sucker, and he feeds on you. He don't give you nothing. He just take from you. So usually, if a woman have a man and she's working 24/7, and the man is not giving her anything, and she had to pay the bills, the light bill, the rent, the mortgage, she got to pay the car note, she going to say, yo, man, you're the goddamn parasite. Meaning that he is living off of the woman. So the woman, will call him a parasite. Because parasites don't give you nothing. They feed off of your system. So they go into your intestines and they feed. Now, let's go over here and show you what it does do. We're going to put it a little bit more. Boom. You have different types of parasites. You have the hookworm. And the hookworm, I'll bring it up a little for you. You all can see. And don't let no doctor come and tell you all that the body don't have no parasite. Our elders was our doctors. Don't forget that. Our elders was our doctors. And they knew. And that's the reason why they could have cleaned us out and keep us healthy. Now the hookworm larva enters the body through the skin or the mouth, and it passes into the bloodstream. 2, the larva travels through the bloodstream. It travels through our bloodstream. The blood is your life. To the lung. That's a hookworm. Roundworm is different. 3, secretions from the lung, which contains the larva from the parasite, is coughed up and swallowed, passing it into the stomach. And that's the reason why you look at a video just the other day, you see a doctor is pulling out a parasite from a woman's mouth. It's on Facebook. Look it up. 4, the larva pass into the intestines, where they mature into adult worms. The head of the adult hookworm has sharp, curved dental plates that enable these parasites to cling on to your intestines. That's what the pig have, the pork. have a lot of hookworms. They hang on the intestines. The eggs that is produced by the female worms leave the body in stool. The eggs hatch into larvae in the soil. So you can do grounding, that's important, but we know now that lots of people who walk barefooted for a long period of time can get parasites too, in the soles of your feet. Yeah? So it comes right over here, and it comes down in the trachea, into your lung, and it's lodged right in your intestine. That is hooked on the intestine. That's a hookworm now. It hooks on the walls of your intestine. You feel you're having all kind of thing. You feel you're sick. You're getting bloated feeling. Your belly making a lot of noise. Big rigorous rumbling. And you feel when you're sick. You ain't sick. You got parasites. You got bacteria. Yeah? Now, the hookworm can cause you, the woman or the man, to have or get iron deficiency and also anemia. The hookworm also can reduce fat absorption, and it can interfere with also vitamin A absorption. That's a hookworm. Yeah? Because it hooks on the intestinal walls. Yeah? And don't forget, we said before that you must do the deworming around the full moon. Because if you don't do the deworming before the 3 days before the full moon, you will only kill the worms, but you will never ever kill the eggs. So the worms will always come back. I'm going to repeat one more time. You must do a parasitic cleanse 3 days before the full moon and 4 days after the full moon. Because 3 days before the full moon is when the eggs are hatching. So you can kill the eggs and the worm at the same time. Yeah? Wonderful. Let's go again. The tapeworm. Here we go. Tapeworm. See the hookworm? Now, worms can grow to 36 inches. And the reason why I said that, because we had a nurse who came to my clinic in Grenada and did a colonic, and we found a long worm from her colon as longer than this here, as long as this, came from her colon, a nurse. Yeah? So worms can grow as long as 36 inches because your colon is 5 feet long. So they can coil up in your intestines. Yeah? Now, the tapeworm is what children have. See? So children seem to get lots of tapeworms and they itch the bottom a lot. But the tapeworm can also cause pernicious anemia because it blocks vitamin D from being absorbed in the intestines, and your liver also stores this B vitamin. So the tapeworm is also dangerous now because it can cause pernicious anemia, which can kill you and give you cancer too. No doctors could doubt that. But the tapeworm, although it can cause pernicious anemia, it can block vitamin B absorption in the intestines. Yeah? Now look at them right here. I want you to look very carefully. See them here? Now this guy right here, he coils up in the walls of your intestines and he eats up all your foods. Garbage. He's a sucker. And he suck you out. And then you will know better. You start having troubles elsewhere. Thinking that you have trouble in your heart. You think you have troubles in your brain. You get anxiety. You're all messed up in the mind. The nerve is all messed up and you feel you're sick. And you go and take a test. And the doctor says, listen, I did an ultrasound. I did an MRI. I did blood work and everything is normal. But he ain't thinking that you have parasitic infection. Yeah? Now, watch me now. They go in and they hook on your intestines and they start to feed on you and on your children. Yeah? Let's go again. One more. Pinworm. Children have a lot of that. A lot of like 2-year-old, 3-year-old. So we had a child who was 2 years old and was constipated. and the mother and the father brought the child to me because they went to all the pediatrician, yeah, and they could not determine why the child was constipated. Yeah, hear what I did. Come over here, son. I took a Q-tip and I put some olive oil on the Q-tip. And I inserted that Q-tip into the 2-year-old buttocks. And I started to tickle the child's buttocks with the Q-tip, with the olive oil on the Q-tip. And all of a sudden, the mother and the father saw lots of pinworms coming out of the child's anus. In Grenada. Yeah? So if you find you have a young baby or like an 8-month-old or 12-month-old child or 1-year-old, 2-year-old child, and you find that they're grinding their teeth or they're scratching the bottom on a regular basis, because they're so young, you cannot give them a laxative. So my advice to you, mother and father, is to get a Q-tip and put some olive oil or some coconut oil on the Q-tip and tickle the bottom with that Q-tip. And you're going to see lots of pinworms coming out from the bottom. Yeah? Don't forget that, mother and fathers. The next one is called threadworm. And parasites like the pinworm and the threadworm, and even this guy called a roundworm, they can damage the cilia in the intestines, causing you to get mineral deficiency. And it impairs the function of the immune system. Worms can do that. And that's the reason why lots of people, yeah, who have what? Who have cancer. Yeah? What are they using? Ivermectin. And the average doctor will say to you, that is garbage. Why do lots of people who is using ivermectin is telling us that the cancer disappear? How come? Because the ivermectin is a deworming for dogs. So they are now killing the parasites, because parasites can cause you to get cancer too, long term. Yeah? Because the wrong worm can go into your brain. Come over here, brother. This guy, him can cause you to get cancer in your brain. This guy, the wrong worm. And lots of people will say, you're Patrick, you're lying. Robert Kennedy mentioned about worms in the brain, and everybody was laughing at the brother. Yeah? When we in Ambrosia been teaching from since 2013, when I was on Facebook, and I said to people, listen, a worm could lodge in your brain. And people laughed at me and say, oh, he's talking crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, when Robert Kennedy mentioned that, Dr. Gupta from CNN came on CNN and he was asked, Dr. Gupta, can a worm go into your brain? And Dr. Gupta said, yes, they can. And it's hard to remove them, but I'm going to show you how to remove them from your brain tonight. Yeah? So a wrong worm can go into the brain and cause you to get tumors in your brain. And now we're seeing doctors like Dr. Gupta is admitting now that, yes, worms can enter the brain and cause you to get troubles in the brain. Alzheimer's disease, dementia, Parkinson's, you know, all these toxins in the brain, heavy metals in the brain. Yeah? But you tell the average doctor that, and he says to you, oh, that's garbage, that's not true. There's no scientific evidence. There is scientific evidence. Science. And the same scientist, man, he dies because he's imperfect. So science is not perfect either. Because science makes strides, but they are imperfect also because they are used by imperfect human beings. God is the only perfect person. Don't forget that. So all the science, I want to see science. Science don't mean nothing because the science have flaws also. because it is proven by imperfect human beings. Yeah? So we have the pinworms, we have the threadworms, and we have the worm. And him like your brain, and he like to go into your intestines, in the, come over here, son, right here. He like over here. Right? Him. The threadworm like right here, the transverse colon. So because the transverse colon corresponds to your throat, your bronchies, yeah, your bronchioles, your trachea, your esophagus, you start getting a cough. The coughing going away. You know what I'm saying? Him, this guy right here. This guy like to be in around the anus, in the rectum. He affects more children. And this guy like to be in the brain. And this guy right here, him, tapeworm, he like to coil up in your intestine and feed on you. And then he creates lots of bad bacteria in your intestines. And then long term, you start getting what? Ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, ileitis, Crohn's disease, colitis. Because why? He does what? He impairs the function of your immune system, and he causes your immune system to be either suppressed or be overactive, and then you start to have all these troubles in your intestines. Yeah? That's what these guys cause. See them here? That's what they cause. These guys right here. Hookworm, threadworm, tapeworm, pinworms, worm. Lot of them. Yeah? And lots of people in the world today is infested with parasites. Sushi, raw fish, give you parasites. Lobster, parasites. Shrimp, parasites. Yeah? Shellfish, parasites. Pork, parasites. Eating meat, beef in rare, parasites. So a lot of people full of parasites. They full of them. And that's the reason why the elders they were so important, because they knew that we were bombarded with a lot of parasites. And that's the reason why they always give us a parasitic cleanse. Anyone living here from the Caribbean country will tell you that mama and daddy and grandma used to give us a deworming and a cleansing before we go back to school after eating all the fruits, the mangoes and stuff like that. Anyone who looking at my presentation tonight know for a fact that that was the norm in the Caribbean countries from the elders. But we give up the way of the elders now. And that's the reason why you're getting sick with cancer. We informed on the elders. Yeast infection. Now you can have a yeast in the vagina, but a lot of people doesn't understand that all these conditions here in the mouth, all on your legs, all your buttocks is yeast. Too much yeast. Yeah? So once we're going to fix the yeast, we must go to the parasitic cleanse and the yeast cleanse at the same time. Because if you're going to do a parasitic cleanse, you must do the yeast cleanse also, because they both could hamper the function of your immune system. Yeah? Now, in the parasitic, yeast and parasitic cleanse, I sent a lot of people yesterday. One, it does what? It cleans the intestinal tract. Two, it modifies your diet. Three, the program uses herbs to remove parasite and yeast, like black walnut, cloves, wormwood, elecampane. If there's a cancer in your lung, you use this herb here. Although it's an herb for the lung, it's what we call an expectorant plant called elecampane. But elecampane makes you cough up things. So if there is a parasite in your lung that causes you to cough on a regular basis, we might use this plant to help you to bring it up, because it is what we call an expectorant plant. So the herbs to remove parasites and yeast is black walnut, cloves, wormwood, elecampane. And this herb is mentioned in Revelation. When John eats it, it tastes bitter in his mouth, but sweet in his belly. The news from the Most High. Elecampane, blessed thistle, stomach, probiotics. Yeast and parasite, you don't have this anymore. If you could have it, you could get it, but have yeast and parasite together. And then number 4, we restore the energy of the digestive system. Number 5, we restore the function of the immune system. We restore the function of the immune system. And that you could take your vitamin C. You could take your B12. You could take your B100. You could take your B6 for the thymus gland. And we can use minerals in solution to alkaline the blood. While we can use Rehmannia to build the spleen and Echinacea to help the CD4 and the CD8 cells. That's it right there. See? Easy thing. Yeah, brother? Yeah?
That's right.
Yes. So I'm going to go back to the elders again. Always use herbs in your household. There's an herb in Jamaica called quasar. It's right here, quasar? Where's quasar? Somewhere around?
Mm-hmm.
It's here?
Right.
This herb from Jamaica. It's called quasar. You see quasar? Lots of Jamaican people use this herb for parasites too. You see what I'm saying? But if you can use it with cloves and black walnut and wormwood, it killing any parasite, anyone. Not Zentel, Zentel only can pinworms. This and it kill any parasite. But you must use these herbs around the full moon. When the moon is becoming full. Because these parasites wait for the moon to become full. And then they start hatching. And they hatching. And they hatching. And the elders knew. They knew. They see the elders. They were our doctors, man. Yeah? The elders was our doctors. Our grandma and our grandfather was our doctors. Because they knew. Anyone from the Caribbean will tell you that before we go back to school, you must take your castor oil, you must take your masalva, you must take your cas, you must take your this, you must take your that. Why? Because the elders knew that organ down there called the intestine, the lower burner, they knew that was the sewage system. They knew. And then the doctors come and said to you, you know what? Them elders don't know nothing. You're not supposed to take no washout. You're not supposed to take no cleansing because the body clean itself. Am I right, brother?
Yes.
That's what the doctors tell the average person today. You don't need no cleansing because the body clean itself. That's very true. Yes, Dr. Man. That's true. But, if the body was so efficient in cleaning itself, how come we getting cancer? Why we getting liver troubles? Why we getting Crohn's disease? Why we getting ulcerative colitis? Why we getting worm infestation? Why our women getting yeast infections? Why we getting breast cancer? Why man getting prostate cancer? If the body heals itself so well, and the body is supposed to clean itself so well, how come we are getting all these diseases now? Yeah? Because the body is not doing a good job. Because we are bombarded with toxins in the air, toxins in the food, toxins in the water. You hear the people bad mind, jealousy, envious, hate, greed. All these things and negativity to the mind. So how you will stop a disease? The body can never heal itself that way. And that's the reason why when you get sick, you must put away all the negativity and put everything that's positive in your mind. And once the mind is positive, the mind is so strong, it can heal anything. So don't let no doctor come and tell you that you're not supposed to do any worming. So I want you to do for me now. I want you, every season in America, in the UK, every season, 4 seasons, I want you to do a parasitic cleanse to bring in the new season for the spring. When the spring is finished, I want you and your family members to bring in a new season called the summer with a parasitic cleanse. When the summer is finished, I want you and your family members to do a parasitic cleanse to bring in the fall. And I want you and your family members after the fall to bring in the winter with a parasitic cleanse. Anybody from the Caribbean countries, Trinidad, Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, Jamaica, Guyana, we have 2 seasons. We have the rainy season and we have the dry season. For every season in the Caribbean, I want you and your family members to bring in that season, because food come in different seasons in the Caribbean. Am I right, brother?
That's right.
The dry season have a food that comes in, and the rainy season have a different food that comes in. So I want you who live in the Caribbean to look at your food that's coming into your season, because they correspond to your bloodstream. And I want you to put away the dry season and give your family members a deworming to bring in a dry season. And then for the rainy season, I want you again to put your family into the midst to do a parasitic cleanse to bring in the rainy season. Because each food come in a season. That's why we're not supposed to get sick in the Caribbean countries. Because we got food in season. We have food with seeds in the Caribbean. Yeah? So why are we getting sick in the Caribbean? We're getting cancer. Why? Because we are now incorporating another man's diet. Am I lying, brother?
That's right.
We are incorporating another man's diet. And once you incorporate another man's diet, you're going to get a man disease. Yeah? Grenada, small country. 90,000 people in Grenada. The number 1 killer of Grenada now is cancer and heart troubles. Not diabetes no more. Cancer and heart troubles. Yeah? My nephew is a cardiologist, Dr. Daigo Humphrey. He admitted to me days ago that Grenada is in trouble with young people. Brother Selvin Coutain just dropped down and died from a heart attack in the hospital. God bless his soul. You see what I'm saying? So heart disease is rampant now in the Caribbean countries because now we are incorporating the next man's diet. We ain't cleaning no more. So we have to go back to the way of the elders. And that's the only way we're going to save our children and we're going to save the next generation. So don't forget, I'm going to put it up tomorrow on Facebook, the Yeast and Parasite Cleanse, because we had lots of people yesterday. I had to keep on typing and typing and typing. I type all the time. Can't type. I get tired typing. So I'm going to put it up tomorrow on Facebook with all the instructions for the Yeast and Parasite Cleanse. And I want you to do it to your children, your husband, your wife. And when you do that, I want you to do it every so often. And the sick care building will never see you all because they don't see my children. My children are not vaccinated. None of them. They don't get sick. I'm not against vaccines, but I am for vaccine safety. Yeah? I am for vaccine safety. But my children are not vaccinated because you know why? I keep on cleaning my children out. So I want you now to put away some time for you and your children to clean them out on a regular basis. And don't forget the way of the elders. And once you can do that, you will stay away from the sick care building and practice health care. Blessed Lord. Don't forget tomorrow morning on Facebook, I'm going to put up that Yeast and Parasite Cleanse for you all for free. Download it and go and follow that program from the 11th of March to the what? To the 21st of March. And you'll see a difference in how you feel. God bless you all and thank you all for the support. God bless everybody. Give thanks. Yeah, man. My brother. And don't forget them scammers. Them scammers. Don't forget the scammers on Facebook. If you don't see a blue dot on my page, it's a scam page. Them scam numbers 585-457-5252 scammers. 402 area code scammers. Don't forget them. Scammers. Ready, Sansan?
Oh, yes.
Are you ready for the Yeast and Parasite Cleanse? Are you ready? Yeah, man. Show people, show them doctors and them nurses and them big pharmaceuticals that you all could stay healthy without going to the sick care building, man. Yeah. You moving, Sansan? You moving, Sansan? You moving, Sansan? I ain't no food, right? I ain't no food, right? What? I'm going crazy. I ain't tired yet, right? See that? And they call me an elder, right? The elder in it. Look at the elder right there. Look at the yellow man. What's your name? I want to say this before I leave. I want everybody in the Caribbean countries to petition your old government, yeah, to try to change the habits of the people, to practice health care, yeah. I want you all to go to your Minister of Health and your Prime Minister, your President, and talk to them, form a group, yeah, and talk to these governments to help the people to practice health care, not sick care. If we can come together as the people and we can go down and march and say, listen, we demand you to practice health care, these governments in the Caribbean is going to start looking a different way. Okay, don't forget that. Yeah?